Hello everyone, this is Physics 103. This lesson is nuclear physics and we will learn about isotopes. So last lesson we have talked about this formula A, which is the number of nucleons. It is equal to the number of protons Z plus the number of neutrons N. So suppose we have a certain element, say carbon. So carbon has 6 protons and 6 neutrons. So 6 protons, 6 plus 6 would give the nucleon number or the mass number to be 12. So this is actually the notation for the nucleus of a certain element. So this is A, this gives you Z, and this is the element. So what if we change the number of protons? So what will happen is that changing the number of protons would result to changing the element. So if we change the number of protons, we added another proton to the carbon nucleus. So its Z will now be 7, and in order to maintain the nucleus to be neutral or the atom to be overall neutral, it will attract another electron. So the number of for a neutral atom of course, the number of protons should be equal to number of electrons. So if you increase Z, that would also result to increasing the number of electrons. And we know from chemistry that the number of electrons or the electrons in itself determine the type of chemical reaction that will happen in atoms. So because electrons are responsible for chemical reactions. So if we change the number of electrons and the protons, we will now have a different element. So it will now be nitrogen having 7 protons, 7 electrons, and it will add into another neutron. So 7 protons plus 7 neutrons is equal to 14. So changing the number of protons will change the element. Now what if we change the number of neutrons or N? So change N. So changing the number of neutrons would result to a different isotope. So what are isotopes? So from the word itself, iso meaning one, tope is from topology. So for example, you have a carbon atom having 6 protons, 6 neutrons in its nucleus, and we don't really care much about the electrons since we are talking about nucleus in nuclear physics. So if you add in another neutron here, so adding another neutron doesn't change the number of electrons because it will still be stable. The overall charge will be 0 in the atom. So adding a neutron doesn't change the number of electrons. It will not change the topology of the atom. But what will change is its mass number. So from carbon 12, if you add in another neutron, so plus N, it will result to a same number of protons but different mass number. So this is called an isotope of carbon. So usually they write it as carbon 13.